So on today's episode of The Healthy Kiki with your favorite auntie. So what really happens to your body when you stop eating meat? Today we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the oh so very ugly. If you guys don't know, if you're not following me on Instagram, wait, like, are you following me on Instagram? If you're not, follow me at pinkvalenciaga_, and perhaps you've seen my latest what I eat in a day video where I share things that I eat in a day, and it's super special because it's my first what I eat in a day video since, you know, really announcing and recognizing that I am a vegetarian. So I really did my thing on that, so you want to make sure that you check that out. And I've been vegetarian for about 5 months. I love my experience. I've learned a lot. I'm going to keep it real with you. I do not think that I did a ton of research prior to starting my journey. And so that's why I'm doing this video today, just in case you guys have been thinking about it. Something is kind of like pulling you back from fully investing your time and energy into just starting. Because trust me, it feels so good to commit yourself to something and see it all the way through and find success. Okay, sis? So on today's episode of The Healthy Kiki with your favorite auntie, I'm going to share everything that happened with me. And I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a dietitian, sis, okay? So how did I even get started into this whole vegetarian thing? I started with the vegetarian cleanse, and that typically is something I've done throughout the years, and it'll span from 7 to 10 days. But most recently, when I started my journey, I said I'm gonna set out to do 14 days. I designed an entire beginner-friendly vegetarian cleanse meal plan that is geared towards helping people figure out what foods they need to eat, and it's super amazing because everything is measured. Like, nothing goes unmeasured, and I really love that because it reinforces the theme of portion control and eating well-balanced meals. So if you're interested in the beginner-friendly vegetarian cleanse meal plan, you can email pinkvegiecleanse@gmail.com for information on how to purchase and to learn more about the plan. The reason why I started, I had a power outage in March. It was a crazy snowstorm, and I literally lost a ton of food in my refrigerator, and it really like made me mad because I wasted so much food, and I felt bad about how all this money I spent on meat. And even if I were just eating vegetables, it would be the same thing. But it's just like, I was talking to my mother about it, and she's like, you know, you had to throw a lot of stuff away. Maybe, you know, this is a way of telling you need to fast, you need to rethink things. When she said that, I said, you know what, this is something I clearly needed to hear. So March, I started the cleanse, and the mental changes, the mental adjustments that you're going to have to make are huge. People don't understand that when you are accustomed to eating meat, that texture, that tearing apart of flesh, your mouth, your teeth, your palate gets so accustomed to that. And then when you're forced to kind of make meals that do not include meat whatsoever, it's kind of difficult because you realize if I just throw a piece of meat on this plate, it would be everything. But you got to think a little bit more, and you have to really like plan out your meals, because sis, you will be hungry. Like, you'll be hungry. I was hungry some days. I'm like, okay, I ate like just like 30 minutes ago, I feel okay, I'm not full. So then the way that you're registering full is different. Eating a meal that has meat is different, you know, when you're eating a whole plate of food and there's no meat to be found. Yes, you're gonna get full, but you're gonna notice it's a difference. And mentally, like, there were days where I was eating a smoothie and I would be like on an Instagram story like, I wish this was fried chicken, like, full disclosure. So there's a mental adjustment, and it's about training your mind to understand that you can do this. Don't be discouraged early on, because you owe it to yourself to see the results. One of the biggest things for me is that emotional emotional connection that I have with food. That's huge for so many people. A lot of the times people come together, they show that they love each other by eating food, and some of my best comfort foods include meat. That's what I grew up on. So it's about training your mind. Those are still comforting foods, but you can make alternatives. Girl, we're gonna get TMI on this one, okay? Because this is what you want to know about, because your body is going to be speaking to you literally. Okay, so your stomach is going to be making a lot of noise. It's going to be like, what's going on in here? Something's different. Why didn't you tell us? We deserve to know what's going on. Yeah, your whole digestive system is adjusting to the change along with you. The bacteria that's in your gut is accustomed to breaking down meats. You have enzymes that are in your stomach to help break down and digest meat products, and essentially you just take it away. So they're like, wait, she switched up on us. We didn't get any notice, so we don't know what to do. Your gut is changing the flora, the fauna, the bacteria, so that it can now adjust to a diet that is much more rich in fiber. Okay, so that's one of the biggest highlights of becoming a vegetarian. You're gonna consume a lot more fiber just by eating vegetables and more plant-based meals, and they are anti-inflammatory. They have a ton of antioxidants, so that inflammation that's associated with consuming meat, it's going to drastically decrease. Now, full disclosure, I gotta keep it real, I struggle. I still like dairy. I love ice cream, though I've pulled back a lot. I still love cheese. Like, I don't know how I can get over that. I'm not sure I would ever go vegan. I'm not gonna say never, but for right now, I still love cheese. I love dairy. I don't eat any milk. My favorite milk is veggie milk, so we're not missing too much. But you're gonna feel bloated, like gassy. Like I said, your stomach's gonna be talking to you, and you might be letting some airflow, sis. Like, something is gonna come. And within you feeling bloated, you might even get this feeling of constipation. Like, you're not going, like, what's wrong with me? I'm used to going twice a day, every day, or at least, you know, 5 to 7 times out of the week. And then that changes, and so you may go a full 2 to 3 weeks with these kind of sporadic, not very like normal, like a normal pattern of moving your bowels, and then suddenly it's like the gates open. It's like the gates open, and sis, it's chocolate rain. I know that was a lot, but you are going to release everything, and that release feels so good. And that's when I started to feel light on my feet. I noticed that, you know, my sleep patterns were so much better. I noticed reduced migraines. I struggled with migraines for a large part of my life, even when I was very young. It's hereditary, and when I tell you, I don't have to take, you know, any type of, you know, medicine to help with my migraines. Your girl is doing damn good. And I know, like, the correlation between the way I used to eat with the heavy sodium and just not being conscious of things, I know that caused fluctuations in my blood pressure. Is probably too high at certain points, spiking sugar. That definitely led to migraines. While I still will have sporadic migraines here and there, I attribute those more towards, like, you know, that time of the month, because that's never going to change for me. Like, it's always, that's what it's going to be for me. So I love that I'm just in less pain. I feel good. I wake up energized. I'm ready to go. The body is just awake. It's alert. I'm running 5 miles now. I can do an entire HIIT cardio and then do like the leg day, arm day, and I can get through it and feel good. And when I tell you I feel good, it's a feeling that you honestly want, because it feels like the ultimate health, like the ultimate level of health. You guys say, oh, your skin looks so good in my latest video. I definitely came through with no makeup. I typically do my videos and I'm not wearing makeup, like, at some point, and you guys are like, we need a skincare routine, the glowing skin, sis, tell us the details. Before my skin was glowing, it was freaking out. My skin felt so textured. It was like my skin was essentially purging itself. It was like stuff that was inside was finally pushing itself to the surface. And so I would have breakouts on my forehead. I would have breakouts, you know, on my cheeks. That's a very, very huge target area for me. Sometimes on my nose, but definitely my forehead and my cheeks. And this forced me to start drinking more water. When you do a dietary change like this, where you are completely revamping, you know, your meal and your diet, you have to increase your water, and your body is going to thank you. You guys, the biggest thing for me to get through that, like, it wasn't like acne, but it was just like breakouts. It was like little pimples here, texture on the cheeks, on the forehead, pores kind of enlarged, like they were just trying to gorge whatever was in it out. And drinking 64 ounces of water before 12 p.m. And let me tell you, that helps to flush the toxins, and it gets the bowels moving. That's why I love to do that. I find that when I wake up and I move my bowels, like, so TMI, but sis, let's keep it real. When I wake up and I'm able to move my bowels, I feel so much better. Like, to have that regularity and to just know, like, ooh, I feel extra light this morning, then, you know, I'm more inclined to step on the scale. Because, you know, if nothing passes, we're just holding on to, you know, dead waste. So drinking water is how I moved through that kind of difficult phase. There were points where I asked myself if I really wanted to do this. Again, having that mental adjustment, you know, reconditioning my mind, that emotional connection that I have with certain foods, and being around my family, and they still eat the same way that they're accustomed to eating, though they are very supportive and they do, you know, make meatless alternatives for me. I'm very thankful that they are on board. But it's difficult seeing that, and then when you're on your journey and maybe you hit a plateau, or your body's not changing in the way that you think it is, be patient. I want to tell you guys, the first 3 months I met my weight loss goal, and, you know, everything was moving cool, but then I hit a plateau, and I talked about this in my What I Eat in a Day video, so go check that out. But your body's gonna plateau, and when it does, especially if you're doing this for improved health and fitness, and you just want to embark on a weight loss journey, clean up your diet even more. People think that just because you become vegetarian or vegan, that equates to automatic weight loss. If you're not eating a well-balanced meal, if you are not consuming the right types of foods and the combinations that are conducive to your own personal weight loss, because weight loss is very subjective, it's based on the individual and a lot of different genetic factors even. If you don't clean up that diet the right way, you're not going to see those results. I looked at my diet a lot of the times to figure out, what am I doing wrong? Let me pull back on sodium. Let me start buying low sodium vegetable broth. Let me pull back on adding salt. Let me try using Mrs. Dash instead. It was making those modifications, switching out bananas because they were not serving me whatsoever. Once you're no longer eating meat, which is a source of protein, you get collagen, you can even get iron and zinc, you are in a rude awakening if you do not get your blood work done and get, you know, all your vitals tested to see where you stand. You can experience hair loss. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I have noticed a change in my hair, but I quickly got life together. I was someone who slacked on minerals and vitamins, taking my supplements. I'm 27. I cannot afford to do that, especially when I'm undergoing such a huge adjustment within my diet. So it forced me to get on that bandwagon. Most African Americans have issues with anemia, so that iron deficiency, you're not carrying oxygenated blood, that can lead to hair loss. So I started taking iron supplements. You have to take vitamin C, you have to get your zinc, you have to get your collagen. Collagen strengthens the skin, the hair, the nails, they're all connected. You really have to, you know, get your calcium, your vitamin D, so that you can absorb everything correctly, because it's so crazy how things are interconnected and you need one in order to have the other. So please get your blood work done. People don't talk about how hair loss can be as a result of a diet change as drastic as becoming a vegetarian, but sis, you can lose your hair playing around and not taking your supplements. If you are someone who needs protein, I like to take pea protein. I love pea protein. I get the unflavored kind. I'll have it linked below. This is how I really make sure that I'm not losing out on vital nutrients. If you are vegetarian and you find that I'm still hungry or I'm not losing weight, I'm in fact gaining weight, it's an imbalance somewhere. In the beginning of my journey, I was eating a lot of beans, and while that is good and I ate the serving size, not more, they have a lot of carbs. I used to love pistachios. They were holding me back, sis. Sometimes it's about figuring out how to curb that craving with foods that are good for you and then can provide nourishment for the long run. I drink a smoothie that has like over 45 grams of protein at the start of my day. I love meatless alternatives. Like brands like Corn have helped me so much. I brag about them all the time. People probably are tired of me, but I love their products and I think that they are so great. They mimic the texture of meat and they don't contain soy. They're gluten-free. The first 2 to 3 weeks are the hardest. To get into a routine, it takes time. Once you hit a month, I think you can do it. I did the cleanse for 14 days and then I said, let's do a month. A month became 60 days. 60 days became 90 days, and we're approaching the 5-month mark, and I could not be happier. I stuck with it. I'm so happy with my choice and still learning so much more. If you have any information, any details you guys would like to share, let me know in the comment section. I'm always open to learning, and that's what this whole entire process has been about. So I wish everyone the absolute best. Stay tuned to this channel. My weight loss journey is coming up and it's going to be insane. And I thank you guys for sticking with me and for really being a source of encouragement. You guys really encourage me along with my family to stick with this. And remember that support comes in many different forms. It doesn't necessarily have to be support in that someone is mimicking or doing exactly what you're doing. It's encouraging you to get up every day, to stay on board, sending you recipes, or just listening to you vent about your frustrations about how you miss fried chicken. And I want to meet you guys in the comments. So let's kiki. I hope you guys like this edition of Healthy Kiki or Health Kiki. I don't know what I called it. But see you guys in the next one. Make sure you subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one.